Breaking news! The Baltimore Ravens are getting ready to host something big, something that could shake up the AFC if it comes to fruition. I confess that I was anxious when I heard about this, and I'll tell you all about it. But first, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Ravens will make it past the playoffs and into Super Bowl 60? If so, hit the like button, and if possible, comment, "I want to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl." Rumor has it that the Baltimore Ravens are being seriously linked to a possible trade for none other than Kayvon Thibodeaux, the former top 5 pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. The Oregon edge rusher, currently with the New York Giants, could wear the purple and black uniform if the rumors gain traction, and, Ravens fans, this is an event you need to keep an eye on. Now before anyone jumps the gun, let's talk facts. Thibodeaux has had a roller coaster of a start to his NFL career. Injuries have certainly slowed him down at times, but when healthy, particularly during the 2023 season, he's been a force off the edge. That season was the first time he managed to stay on the field the entire year, and he rewarded the Giants with 11.5 sacks, 50 tackles, 43 pressures, 3 forced fumbles, and 4 pass deflections. That's not just solid production, that's star-level disruption from the edge. And that kind of juice is exactly what the Ravens desperately need. Let's face it, the pass rush in Baltimore hasn't been anywhere near elite. Their pass rush win rate last season was an abysmal 33%, ranking near the bottom of the NFL. Quarterback pressure rate, subpar at just 31.4%. And the time to pressure, how quickly a team gets to the quarterback, was a staggering 2.88 seconds, dead last in the entire league. That number means opposing quarterbacks had way too much time to get comfortable and pick apart the Ravens secondary, which ultimately cost them in key moments like the playoff loss to Buffalo, where Baltimore mustered just 1 sack and 6 pressures. Now let's talk about what makes Thibodeaux such a compelling fit. Despite missing 5 games in 2024 due to a wrist injury, he came back strong and remained one of the few bright spots on a struggling Giants defense. He's not just a pass rusher. His athleticism and football IQ allow him to excel in pass coverage and deflect passes at the line, a rare quality in edge rushers. His time to pressure is significantly better than what we've seen from current Ravens like Odafoa and even the veteran Kyle Van Noy, who has been reliable but is undeniably aging. The kicker here is New York's reluctance to pick up Thibodeaux's 5th-year option, something they have until May 1st to decide on. Combine that with strong rumors that they're eyeing Abdul Carter from Penn State with their top pick in the 2025 draft, and it makes Thibodeaux a prime trade candidate. If the Giants see Carter as their future at edge, Thibodeaux might just be available, and Baltimore could pounce. But what would it cost? The proposed trade scenario suggests the Ravens could land Thibodeaux in exchange for their 2025 second-round pick, number 59 overall. Some fans might hesitate, thinking that's steep for a player who hasn't fully lived up to his draft billing. But context matters. The Ravens, being one of the better teams in the league, pick late in every round. That second rounder is essentially an early third for most franchises. For a guy with Thibodeaux's upside, especially considering his performance in 2023, it might be a gamble worth taking. However, there's another layer to this conversation. Baltimore has done their homework on edge rushers in the draft. Names like James Pierce Jr., Jack Sawyer, and even Antoine Powell-Ryland have been floated as potential picks in the first 4 rounds, where the Ravens hold 5 selections. Pierce Jr. is a tantalizing option at pick 27, and Sawyer brings big game prowess from Ohio State. The team even hosted Olufemi Aljo for a visit, proof that they're deeply scouting this position group. That makes the Thibodeaux conversation even more complex. Do you go with a proven, though slightly injury-prone, talent who's already produced double-digit sacks in the NFL? Or do you bank on a rookie from this year's class, hoping to develop him into the future face of your pass rush? One thing's for sure, this isn't just talk for content's sake. There's legitimate buzz behind this trade rumor. Thibodeaux fits the Ravens scheme. He's still young, and bringing him in will align with the team's clear push to get younger and more athletic on defense. Pairing him with rising stars like Kyle Hamilton and recent draft addition Nate Wiggins could rejuvenate this defense and keep Baltimore among the AFC's elite. So Ravens flock, it's time to sound off. Is Kayvon Thibodeaux worth a second-round pick? Should Baltimore bet on a known commodity with star potential, or should they dive into the draft and mold a young edge rusher from scratch? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you accept or decline that trade? Or for accept, D for decline. We're heading into draft season and decisions like this could define the future of this defense. And as we look deeper into the implications of this potential move, we have to understand what kind of signal a Thibodeau trade would send to the rest of the AFC. It's not just about acquiring a talented player, it's about what it says regarding the Ravens' mindset going into the 2025 season. This is a franchise that came painfully close to a Super Bowl berth and knows it's just a few plays away from being the top dog in the conference. Going after someone like Thibodeau is a message to the rest of the league. Baltimore isn't content with almost. They're hunting for dominance. Now let's break down what Thibodeau could bring from a schematic and locker room standpoint. Under Zach Orr, who's stepping into the defensive coordinator role, there's a real opportunity to redefine the identity of this defense. The Ravens have already made investments in young talent, Nate Wiggins in the secondary, Kyle Hamilton leading the safety group, and Thibodeau would be the cherry on top of that defensive youth movement. He's got the high motor style that would mesh well with the Ravens' aggressive tendencies. And more than that, he brings versatility. He's not just a hand-in-the-dirt edge guy. He can drop into coverage, disrupt passing lanes, and line up across multiple fronts, giving or creative freedom to disguise looks and bring pressure from different angles. Leadership-wise, Thibodeau also has something to prove. Let's not forget, this is a player who entered the league with top 5 expectations. That kind of label sticks with you. You either live up to it, or it becomes a burden. A fresh start in a winning culture like Baltimore's might be exactly what he needs to reignite that fire. And in a locker room led by veterans like Roquan Smith and Marlon Humphrey, you better believe he'd be held accountable and challenged to play to his full potential. But here's the catch, and this is where the front office will have to get surgical. Baltimore isn't flush with draft picks or cap space to burn. The second-round pick they'd have to give up is valuable, especially in a year where the draft class has serious depth at edge rusher. As mentioned earlier, James Pierce Jr. could fall to them at 27, and he's arguably the most explosive pass rusher in this class. Jack Sawyer, who didn't post off-the-charts numbers but made massive plays in big-time games, offers another intriguing option in round 2. And if you wait even longer, Antoine Powell-Ryland from Virginia Tech might still be on the board in the 4th. That's a guy who had 16 sacks last season. Yes, 16. Production like that, even with size concerns, doesn't go unnoticed. So here's the question for GM Eric DeCosta and the Ravens brass. Do you trust your scouting department and player development system to turn one of these rookies into your next defensive star? Or do you take the known path, roll the dice on Thibodeau, knowing he's flashed elite-level traits but also comes with some durability concerns? It's also worth noting the financial angle. If Baltimore trades for Thibodeau and he hits, they'll have to start thinking about a contract extension fairly quickly, especially if he plays out of his mind in 2025. That's not a cheap endeavor, particularly with other deals looming in the next couple of years. On the flip side, a rookie edge rusher on a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option gives you cost control and flexibility, something the Ravens might prefer if they want to maintain a balanced roster. At the end of the day, this is a classic high-risk, high-reward scenario. If Thibodeau stays healthy and plays like he did in 2023, you've got a legitimate Pro Bowl caliber edge rusher for the next 5 years. If not, you've spent a premium pick on a player who might not pan out and missed the chance to draft and mold a new cornerstone. So now it's your turn. Should Baltimore pull the trigger and bring Kayvon Thibodeau to the flock? Or is the smarter play sticking to the draft board and continuing to build through youth and development? Drop your thoughts below and let's keep this conversation going, because one way or another, the 2025 season is shaping up to be one for the books. Let me know what you would do if you were in Eric DeCosta's shoes. Would you go for the proven or gamble on potential? Let's talk about it.